From the John C. Hench Production Art Studios in Peoria, Illinois, VideoMax Limited presents Midstate Magazine with your hosts, Kayla Neitz and Dawn McClure. News with Stephen Gothald and Danielle Kamsky. And the Midstate reporting team. Sports with Brent Drovalis. Jalen Cook is on the beat. Shane Z. Fryer takes us about town. Get real with Haley Fichter. Let's eat with Brandon Johnson. Jackie Myers is in the spotlight. Street Team with Ricky Hendon. Megan Casey about crew. And State of the Arts with Brooke James. And now, from America's friendliest city, Midstate Magazine. Take it away, kids.
Hello, welcome to Midstate Magazine. I'm Don McClure.
And I'm Kayla Neitz. Thank you for joining us tonight.
All right, so what do we have going on in local Peoria?
Well, I just heard about a robbery that took place at Northwoods Mall. Okay. Essentially what happened was there was $4,000 worth of lingerie merchandise stolen from the Victoria's Secret. And they're pretty sure that it was an employee that did take the merchandise because it all went missing between the hours of 7 p.m. and 9 p.m., which is kind of like closing time. Mm-hmm. And then I believe what happened was the assistant manager came in the next day and everything was kind of gone. And
the question is it really worth it once you get, to steal underwear and bras? Like, is your career or your life worth that much?
Exactly, because I mean, you're talking about going to jail or something like that, for like bras and panties, essentially.
Right. Also, going on local, we had Eric Holder. He's the U.S. attorney. They call him the most powerful attorney in the U.S. He is also the attorney to the U.S. president, President Barack Obama. So he was here in Peoria just trying to learn
what was he looking at?
Basically, he was trying to figure out how to save the economy on money for the prison system, basically how to merge people back into society if we can keep them out of prison, because we spend about $80 billion on the prison system.
Sure, it's definitely expensive to keep them in rather than, try to get them out there again.
Exactly. And there seems to be a lot of other things going on in the Peoria area as well.
Let's check out what's going around town with the news team.
Good evening, I'm Stephen Gothals.
And I'm Danielle Kamsky. Now let's take a look at the news.
One suspect got away last Friday night after attempting to break into the home of a Bartonville resident. Police arrived to the scene to find that a window screen had been pushed in and were able to collect evidence. Bartonville Police Chief Brian Fengel also confirmed the use of the department's police dog in carrying out the investigation during a 2-hour search that took place that night. No suspect is currently in custody, but authorities are encouraging everyone with information to call Crime Stoppers at 673-9000. Police believe the suspect was familiar with the area.
A 19-year-old normal driver is responsible for a car crash that left one dead and 2 others severely injured. Garrett Peterson is charged with aggravated DUI after losing control of his vehicle and striking a utility pole. The crash occurred near the intersection of Parkside and Rab Roads. Peterson is currently being held in McLean County Jail with a bond set at $1 million. An autopsy was conducted early Monday afternoon.
An East Peoria fire caused an estimated $30,000 worth of damage last Sunday morning. According to the Assistant Fire Chief, Rick Ward, the fire department was notified at the incident at 7:21 a.m. on the 200 block of Chicago Street to put it out. The back bedroom of the house was left tarnished, but luckily the flames did not damage any other part of the house. One resident did, however, undergo minor burns to the hand and was treated at a local hospital. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. While college students have the opportunity to experience many different things, including religion.
Ethan Finn takes a look at one of the organizations available to Bradley University students.
One of the few places to study religion on Bradley's campus is Hillel. Vice President Ron Taxter talked about what Hillel does.
To make sure that college students, Jewish students, continue making Jewish decisions. And I think that we definitely make sure we help Jewish students continue making those decisions, and we give non-Jewish students an insight into our religion and food, definitely.
Hillel has a relaxed atmosphere.
A place where they know they can come to feel comfortable with everyone that's there, and they don't have to, they don't have to try, I guess. They don't have to try to make new friends. They don't have to try to look for the customs, because we try to be pluralistic and make sure that everyone feels comfortable so that people can just come and they can just go with the flow. They don't have to be self-conscious.
While the social aspect is important, the heart of Hillel is in its Friday night service.
What I like especially is seeing the people, to see them come for Friday night services, and I don't have to try to convince them, oh, you should come because this week we're having, chicken and rice. They come because they want to come.
For Midstate Magazine, I'm Ethan Finn.
Thanks, Ethan. Now here's Brent with sports.
Thanks, Danielle. Central Illinois' own Elmwood High School took the 1A state championship for men's track. Held right here in Peoria at Detweiler Park, the Trojans had 2 of the top 15 finishers. Nate Harridge finished 8th and Matt Olsmulski 13th. 3 others would finish in the top 50 to give Elmwood enough overall points to take the title. Illinois State women's soccer has done it again. The top-seeded Redbirds took down rivals Indiana State 5-0 to win their 3rd straight conference title. Freshman sensation Hannah Leinert scored the game's first 3 goals. This made her the first player ever to score a hat trick in the MVC championship game. Leinert was also named the Missouri Valley Tournament MVP and looks to lead the Redbirds to a national title in the NCAA tournament. No one in Chicago doubts the toughness of Bears quarterback Jay Cutler. However, they may be questioning the methods of coach Mark Trestman. Cutler, who had suffered a groin injury in Week 7 against the Redskins, was showing distress towards the end of the Bears matchup with the Lions. Backup quarterback Josh McCown finally entered in the game in the closing minutes and came up just short in a loss to Detroit. Cutler has re-injured his groin and also is dealing with a bum ankle. There is no timetable for his return. That's it for sports. Back to you, Danielle.
Thanks, Brent. We're all familiar with the separation of church and state, but what about the separation of church and snake? Well, one Tennessee pastor is facing charges for just that. Andrew Hamblin, minister at the Tabernacle Church of God, was cited for incorporating at least 50 poisonous snakes into his worship services. The pastor was recently featured on a reality show called Snake Salvation, where serpent handling was featured during his services. Rattlesnakes and copperheads were just some of the reptiles being used.
You think he was in Slytherin? I mean, speaking of Parseltown, gathering the snakes.
Creative. Well, that's it for the news. I'm Brent Javals.
I'm Stephen Gothals.
And I'm Danielle Hayimski. Have a great night and join us next week.
All right, thanks, news team.
Now, Dawn, you've done a little bit of research on the Jewish community. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I did. I had to basically research like the Jewish community and black Jews and white Jews, and basically what it broke down to. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu characterized intermarriage, which is usually like a white Jew and a black Jew who would marry.
Yep.
He characterized it as the new silent Holocaust. So,
wow.
Right, basically, if it's not preserving, that he thinks that if you can't be a real Jew if you're black.
Okay.
So that was very interesting and
Sure.
a lot to learn. Also with that, with the sports and everything going on, we also have Jordan Prosser
Yep.
on the Bradley University on the Bradley basketball team,
Yeah.
which is, Division I. And the Peoria Journal-Star and so many other news people have covered this story, and they've been asking the coach, Gino Ford, why he's been suspended. He was suspended for 4 games, and basically, I've been digging more into it, and from sources allegedly, he was suspended for plagiarizing on a paper.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about plagiarizing? Do you think you would get the same treatment? Because most people would be kicked out of school.
Right, that is like the protocol. If you plagiarize, you're out of the school. And, I think it's kind of troubling for just because you're on the basketball team or any kind of sports team, you're kind of favored.
Right.
So I'm not saying he necessarily should be kicked out of school, but everyone should be treated at the same level.
Yes.
There's always something interesting to check out in Peoria.
All right, let's see what Shane found for us this week with About Town.
The city of Peoria is full of history and culture, and all of this is being highlighted at the Peoria Riverfront Museum.
Today is our Peoria Community History Day. We partnered with the Peoria Historical Society and WTVP. We have a variety of events throughout the day that relate to Peoria's history.
One of the many events of the day featured the reenactments of the Metamora Courthouse Civil Dancers, along with director Gene Myers, who together highlighted the popular dances of the period.
Our group presents, we are reenactors, but we're not the type that fight, we're the type that do dancing. And we do dance reenacting, and we perform dances from 1805 to 1865.
As Renee Kerrigan, coordinator for the event, explains, Community Day and one exhibit in particular could not have been done without the help of the Peoria Historical Society.
We've been a partner with the Peoria Historical Society for a long time. They helped us with our Peoria history exhibit, The Street.
The Street, an interactive display, features the very best of the River City. Marilyn Leyland, past president of the PHS and volunteer at the museum for the event, describes how the exhibit focuses on many of Peoria's accomplishments and the Peorians who have made differences for the town and for the world.
The street as it's set up now is meant to focus on the inventors and entrepreneurs of Peoria. And it's surprising to people how many things were invented in Peoria or were manufactured. That Peoria was once the whiskey capital of the world, the earth-moving capital of the world. I mean, Richard Pryor is from Peoria, you know, the one who really set off stand-up comedy. And so, you know, Fibber McGee and Molly, people like that were huge in radio. Fulton Sheen, who won an Emmy.
With the entertainment, political, and even social history of Peoria on display, members of the Peoria Historical Society and the Riverfront Museum hope events like this will encourage the people of Peoria and the surrounding areas to learn more about the rich past, present, and future of the River City.
Community days are a nice way to try to encourage people who maybe aren't museum people to come and check out the museum and our other community partners, see what's going on, and learn more about the town that they live in.
For Midstate Magazine, I'm Shane Fryer.
Thanks, Shane. All right, so what's going on in Hollywood? Let's switch gears really fast.
Well, I heard about Justin Bieber. He was, you know, performing a concert in Buenos Aires.
Okay.
And he kind of mishandled and disrespected the Argentine flag. And basically what he did was he took it, he kind of kicked it around on stage, and then he took his mic stand and actually like pretended to use it like a mop. So, you know, that was like,
right.
Everyone was really upset about it. And he did end up apologizing, but it just kind of shows like himself as in his character, what the respect that he has for the.
He seems to, a lot of stars, I feel like once they get a certain amount of like clout or they get so big, they lose touch with reality and the respect of how to treat other people's property. Because it's the same thing inviting another artist from a different country into our home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they disrespected our flag.
We would obviously be upset. You'd think that he would have the same respect.
Exactly. Well, you know, right now, next we have coming up, it's In the Spotlight, I believe, and it'll be the Hollywood package, correct? All right.
I'm Jackie Myers, and this is In the Spotlight. All right, so we're all dreading that one day, our 20-year high school reunion. But which star can't be more excited? Bradley Cooper. This celebrity hunk couldn't wait to return to his high school, Germantown Academy in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania. Happy to reminisce with some old friends and his favorite teachers, Cooper shows his love for his alma mater. A school official explained to People magazine he has come back to GA a couple of times to talk to students. He's a big supporter and proud to be a part of this school. When you think Miley Cyrus, you think party animal. While the Wrecking Ball singer may seem that way, she claims that she's not exactly a wild child. In an interview with BBC Radio 1, Miley said she is the lamest because she never leaves her house. She went on to say she's a complete hermit. However, smoking a joint while accepting an award at the MTV European Music Awards isn't exactly the definition of a hermit. Have you ever been afraid to take a stand for something you believe in? The story of Malala Yousafzai has not only made headlines but changed people's lives. Malala is a teenage girl from Pakistan who took a stand for not only herself, but 57 million children rejected the right of an education. In October of 2012, Malala was shot in the head by the Taliban for being such an advocate for women's rights. Although she went through a tough recovery process, she continued to be an inspiration. On Monday, she was presented Glamour Magazine's Woman of the Year award in New York. For In the Spotlight, I'm Jackie Myers.
There really is a lot going on in Celebrity Town.
Sure is, and thank you, Jackie, for that wild update.
Yep.
You know, yeah. Also, you know, speaking of Malala, I also am familiar with Pakistan, and you know, she basically stood up to the Taliban for education and women's rights. And she said, basically, they quoted her directly and said, I don't care if I have to sit on the floor to get an education, I just want to be educated.
That's incredible.
It is, for her to be so young.
And like just how much bravery it would take and courage.
And I can only imagine that, I would say, because a lot of their societal norms is, you know, a lot of women don't have privileged to get educated as well as
Sure.
men do, but you know, I'm sure the women there are very proud of her.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. It really is. Yeah.
School teachers retire every year, but they usually hang up the chalk and eraser in their 60s. We found out a teacher who retired this year with a really long resume. She's the subject of our postcard from home.
The family farm in America is fading fast. Heavy mechanization has taken its place. In the not-so-distant past, a single Johnny Popper, like mine here, was all the family farm needed to survive. A woman in Williamsfield remembers the family farm very well.
You were never bored because you always had a job to do. And it was a family occupation. And it was a wonderful life. One time my mother, we always ate together, of course, and my mother looked around the table and she said, "I want you children to remember everything on this table except the salt and the pepper and the sugar came off his farm."
90-year-old May Olive Flickinger remembers something else well, too. Half a century, 50 years of teaching school in Brimfield. She retired just this year.
So I interviewed, and I got the job, and stayed there for 50 years. And just loved it, and still miss it, and boy, when September comes, I better be busy with something.
All her life, May Olive remembered something else. An airplane ride with a barnstormer at age 8.
I've always been caught up with flying, and I said the only thing I want for my birthday is to go up in an airplane ride.
And 2 weeks ago, another barnstormer, her neighbor, Lee White, took May Olive Flickinger for another ride, only 81 years after the first one. In her lifetime, May Olive Flickinger witnessed incredible changes. Electric lights, indoor plumbing, radio, television, movies, mass-produced cars, aviation, spaceflight, war and peace. And all that while in her classroom, she gave wings to generations of kids who will always remember her with love. And at the end of her second flight in 81 years, she has a pertinent observation.
If I'd been a boy, I'd probably say they could fly. In those days, girls didn't do things like that, you know.
Well, Amelia Earhart did.
Oh, yes, I know she did. Look what happened to her. I have no idea what happened to her.
With another postcard from home, yours truly, Bob Jacobs.
All right, well, that was great. That was a great story. And
Yeah.
for her to teach over 50 years, and she's a very funny lady,
Yes.
obviously, and still got a lot of spunk to her, you know?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think a lot of people, they come out of retirement and some people kind of feel lost a little bit, and she just kind of got right out there and did whatever she wanted to do. I think that's awesome.
Also, it was amazing that she got to get a plane ride.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Right, and then that type of plane, because
That's
I've
the
never
kind
even
of plane you go to Florida in or whatever.
Exactly.
Doesn't have
So
any windows.
Right, I would have been very
I would've been
nervous
shaken.
and
She
scared.
looked comfortable.
She
looked
did.
very comfortable, like she'd done it her whole life.
She seemed like a brave lady.
Yes.
Yeah, she seems pretty cool to be around. I would have loved to meet her. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Anything else going on right now in the music world? I know we have some James Blunt coming up. Actually, we was playing some James Blunt when I walked into the studio. Yeah, the only song I'm really familiar with is like the Beautiful song.
Okay, I'm actually not very familiar with his music at all.
Okay, well we can catch up more.
Yeah.
Well, Kayla, do you hear that?
I do, and you know what that means. Jalen is ready with On the Beat.
Hey, I'm Jalen Cook, and this is On the Beat. James Blunt is at it again with his latest offering, Moon Landing, which was released on October 18th. The man responsible for his 2005 hit single, You're Beautiful, is bound to please his fans with more of his high-pitched crooning, but will also draw in new listeners with his eclectic style and engaging brand of music. The album boasts tracks varying from emotional ballads to high-energy pop songs, each having a distinctive effect on listeners' experience.
Blunt's lyricism is honest, creative, and deeply personal, which is something we don't see from too many artists these days. His ability to be true to his audience will definitely form a strong connection when listening to the album. Moon Landing only features one single, Bonfire Heart, but the entire album deserves a listen to despite the lack of airplay. Moon Landing is another great outing for James Blunt, and hopefully a sign of more to come from him in the future. Until next time, for On The Beat, I'm Jalen Cook.
All right, well, thanks for that update, Jalen. So also, locally in Peoria, they it's a horse riding therapy. They called it like horse.
Really?
Yeah, you ride on. It helps like kids and anyone really. I know they helped a man who was paralyzed from like the waist down.
Okay.
And basically, you ride the horse, and it's to help them with their balance. And as
Very cool.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
I found that pretty cool.
That's
going
right around
on.
the area?
Yeah, local in Peoria. You know, a lot of things going on in Peoria. Also, we have like the museums. There's so much cool stuff to check out in Peoria.
Yep.
When I'm coming to find out, you just have to actually find them.
Just do some research.
Exactly. And I know next we have coming up is some state of the arts and some original talent, you know. And this week we have Brooke is out on assignment, so Liz Scoville came back to visit in the host state of the arts.
Let's check in with her and see who she has found for this week.
Hello, welcome to State of the Arts. I'm your host, Elizabeth Scoville. Today on the show, I have Gretchen Walking. Gretchen is a junior civil engineering major at Bradley University who enjoys playing and writing music for her independent project called No Hard Feelings. Hi, Gretchen. Thank you for coming.
Thanks. Yeah, definitely.
So can you tell me a little about how you got involved in music?
Well, I started playing piano when I was really little because my mom played. And after that, I just started picking up anything that I could, guitar, ukulele, all sorts of things. So.
Speaking of the ukulele, we don't get a whole lot of ukulele players on here. How'd you get involved with that music?
Well, I got it as a present on my freshman year of college, and I just, you know what, it was so easy that I just kind of picked it up, and it's become somewhat of a trademark, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you play ukulele a lot for your project No Hard Feelings. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, it's just me and whatever instrument I'm holding, and I'm just kind of going around trying to get some shows and playing a lot of original music that I put together. So.
Well, what musical influences do you draw on to create this music of yours?
So much. Let's see. Some rap, more acoustic rap, so like Jason Mraz. I really like Jukebox the Ghost. I really like Motion City Soundtrack. So nerdy and slightly fast-paced things.
Nice. Speaking of that, what kind of song will you be playing for us today?
A fast-paced nerdy song that is about how much I like the 90s.
Awesome. So. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, thanks. Drizzle, busy sending my slinky down the stairs. My Game Boy is always running out of batteries, and so is my CD player. But I don't care, cause I got a 90s heart. I was afraid of the dark. I like Furbies and orange soda. Got Rugrats Christmas on VHS, and I remember when Doug showed up. Clarissa explained and Stimpy complained while I watched the plots of Pinky and the Brain. Lost Kurt Cobain to the 90s. On my Monopoly dice, I got advice from Mr. Feeney and Cher. I could tell you what I want, what I really, really want, if you told me Carmen Sandiego's there. Do you know where? Cause I got a 90s heart. I was afraid of the dark. I got at least 3 or 4 gigapets. Nightmare Before Christmas on VHS, and I remember my record on Skip It. Got my Lisa Frank backpack, Rosie's on all that, and when I'm home alone I set up traps. Didn't lose 2 pack to the 90s. I've said how rude know the legends of the Hidden Temple and Zelda. I love the Red Power Ranger and Bob Ross. I still read Goosebumps and play hopscotch. And Michael Jordan is a baseball boss? Psych. Got a 90s heart, I was afraid of the dark. I got lights on my new Skechers. Home video Christmas on VHS, and I feel hard at drawing with an Etch-a-Sketch. The Oregon Trail will take me far in my Hot Wheels car. If New Kids on the Block is playing hard, lost Mufasa and Scar to the 90s.
That is such a throwback song and definitely stylistic. I love what you play. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. Of course. Thank you for your performance, Gretchen, and thank you for watching. That's all the time we have for this week. For State of the Arts, I'm Elizabeth Scoville.
Well, thank you, Liz. Dawn, I don't know if you've ever tried to pick up the ukulele.
I have not, no.
Neither have I. Not to say that it's an easy instrument to play at all, but it is amazing how, you know, those musically inclined people can just like pick it up, because I've seen people who have never played it, but they have played the guitar, and all of a sudden they just hear it and they can play the song. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and that was pretty creative. I love creative stuff.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of unique things.
I always like when there's a little bit of humor in the songs, and it's just kind of like you gotta get the joke or get the pun or whatever.
And we had a lot of unique things happening today, and really I just want to say to Malayla that hopefully she keeps fighting for women's education.
Absolutely.
And keep pushing forward, because that's the only way change happens, and that's always amazing. And for anybody else in school, they need to also do the same thing, and we could all be inspired by her.
And hopefully she'll, I mean, I'm sure she's already inspiring people. People will come up behind her and just, you know, really encourage her.
And, you know, like I said, we got a lot of good things going on in Peoria. We had Eric Holder down here, and also we had some other interesting things going on, I guess, that we can keep pushing forward. The horseback riding for physical therapy.
Which is great.
Yes, and, you know, and hopefully Justin Bieber learns his lesson, you know, not to be disrespectful.
Absolutely. It's definitely something he could use a few lessons in.
Yes. And also, I think for, what else do we have going on today?
Well, we had the Northwoods Mall, the robbery, so hopefully they can solve that really quickly. And I don't know if they can get their merchandise back necessarily, but, you know, that's a lot of money taken, so.
Well, you know, if they stole some underwear, if they wear them, I don't know if they want them back.
I wouldn't want them back personally. I would just say, you know what, a loss is a loss, take it and leave.
Well, hopefully they can get the money back, and, you know,
Absolutely.
they'll be reprimanded for that, and that won't be too bad of a thing going on. And also with the sports around in the local community, a Division I school, Bradley University.
Plagiarism incident, hopefully that can be resolved.
And that's serious, and I think, you know, we don't want to send a message that plagiarism is okay.
Acceptable, right.
Well, that's all the time we have this week from Midstate Magazine. I'm Don McClure.
And I'm Kayla Meets. Have a great night and join us next week.